Fourth quarter live with myself, Eytan Shander, and the one and only Harry Mays, who will be joining us in a matter of seconds. Harry dealing with a couple of technical issues, but we're getting through that. Trust me, don't worry. So we'll be reacting live and unfiltered to every play of the final quarter of this Eastern Conference matchup that you're watching tonight with the Wizards. And we're excited to be presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. We have a special fan cred offer where DraftKings will match any amount of any first-time deposit up to $500. So if you're watching the game in New Jersey, go to DraftKings.com/FanCred and use promo code FanCred to get your matching deposit. Again, that's DraftKings.com/FanCred with the promo code FanCred to get your matching deposit during today's game. So we're here, and Harry will be along in a matter of seconds. Of course, this thing has been all one-sided, as you've been following along before we popped on. The big story of the night outside of the blowout and just dealing more misery to the Washington Wizards, which is always a fun and exciting thing when you get to hand the Wizards another loss. And this team is just miserable this season. They're going absolutely nowhere. The story is Shamet, who's 8 threes. All his buckets have been threes. He's already broken the rookie record for threes in a game. And at this point, I mean, let's be honest. You're already up 26 points. There's 11:15 left in the game. What more do you really want, right? I mean, what more do you really want out of Landry Shamet outside of just knocking down as many threes as humanly possible? All right, so Mitch, first up in the comments, what's wrong with this Wizards team? How bad are they? How are they this bad? And see, Mitch doesn't even ask the second question. Mitch just assumes it and puts the exclamation point. How are they this bad? Things have just been breaking down really all around this team this year. And I think that not having John Wall at time, Bradley Beal just having way too much on his shoulders, it's just not enough. Otto Porter has fallen off the face of the earth. And they're just not deep enough either. This team, I think, was built with expectations of so long as that backcourt is healthy, they're going to be able to compete. And the reality is that this team stinks. They suck. The Wizards are brutal. Maybe the only thing you can do at this point is show Bradley Beal what he's missing. I mean, if I'm a fan right now, I'm going to go Bradley Beal, and probably chant the hell out of his name to see if I can at least show him what it's like to play here. Because that's the only benefit you can get from watching this Wizards team is just prying away somebody like Bradley Beal. Remember, Otto Porter was what initially people wanted, but again, where's he been for the majority of the year? Landry Shamet has 29 points, 8 3-pointers. James says, what can we learn besides the fact that Shamet is a god tonight from this game? Well, I think that Jimmy Butler early on setting the tone, coming off of that perceived controversy. And James, I think this is a really good question because before this game, there was real concern. I was just doing a national hit on a radio station, and there was legit concern. It's all they wanted to talk about was Jimmy Butler this, Jimmy Butler that, and about Brett Brown and Butler and the chemistry. And I think that what you got tonight was you got Jimmy Butler coming out, setting the tone in this offense, even with Joel Embiid not being bad, but kind of passive. And that was huge. So listen, you guys can come on face-to-face by pressing the fan line button at the top right of your screen. So if you see that at the top right of your screen, there's a fan line button. And if you hit that, you can come on with me. Harry's going to be here in a matter of seconds. Sorry, I'll stop shaking the camera cam. But you can come on with us and chat with us. You can jump in, say whatever the hell you want. It's live. It's unfiltered. At this point, with just over 10 minutes left, we'll continue to chat and root on Landry Shamet. Maybe the guy could hit 40. I don't know. We'll see if that's even close to it. But, James, it's a good question. I think Landry Shamet getting more opportunities to shoot the three hopefully comes from this. But ultimately, Jimmy Butler setting the tone early on was huge. Hit all, I think, 5 or 6 of his first shots. Craig says Scott Brooks gone soon. Listen, this year, I don't know what they're going to do with Scotty Brooks. They might just try to reset and keep him along and allow him to develop anybody younger, anybody new. But I don't know if Scott Brooks is necessarily out as a result of this team. It's difficult to pin it on Scott Brooks. And look, they're going to go on this run right here, which is natural. But with a lot of bench guys in, you'll see and immediately how easy it is to stop that run as TJ knocks down that three. I might be behind or ahead, I'm sorry, but depending on what you're watching and how you're consuming. I think the biggest thing with Scotty Brooks, just to circle back to that, brother Craig, is that you don't know the direction of this team come the trade deadline. If, in fact, they move one or two bodies, it might be enough to keep Scott Brooks around to kind of see through a rebuild. That happens a lot. Again, you guys can come on anytime you want, face-to-face, by pressing that fan line button at the top right of your screen. So it's me, Harry Mays, will be back here in a minute or two. But you guys can pop on. I know there's some great comments. We'll continue to answer the comments that you have as the Sixers just refuse to let the Wizards go on any type of run. So Mark asks, Shamet wants to prove he should be one of the first men off the bench next year, right? Decent bench, but needs improvement. Listen, that's going to be the big issue. And it's a good question and point I think you raised, Mark, which is the bench is still the biggest concern. So here's what you have. You've got until the trade deadline to really see what you have in guys who might be in that shortened playoff roster. And Landry Shamet has played in every single game this year. And Shamet tonight is doing this against starting basketball players. Now, this is not Markelle Fultz coming in the second quarter and third quarter with secondary unit. This is Shamet coming in and making an impact every single second he's been on the floor. So, yes, it should open something up for him down the line if he can continue to play this way. But that's a huge issue that's going to undo them deep in the playoffs. Now, they're good enough, top-heavy enough with one or two guys to make some run in the postseason. But let's be honest, they don't have the depth right now. But the depth right now is the perception of what we see. That doesn't mean that young guys can't get a little bit better. Thanks, David, man. I appreciate that. So Christopher asks the most important question of the night to date. Will Shamet score more points tonight than Flyers wins for the year? Man, that is a great question. That is a very good question. The Flyers are not doing it. So how high would Shamet have to hit tonight in order to eclipse the Flyers' wins for the regular season? You think, all right, he's already at 29. Wait, I thought he hit that ninth one, right? No, he's at 29 I have. So in order to get to, they're at 15 wins this early. They've lost 7 straight. I'd say if he got to 40, I'd feel comfortable that it'd be no contest. How about that? Is that cool, Christopher? I think 40, if Shamet can hit 40, a couple things happen, right? First, you definitely get the complete, there's just no doubt whatsoever, the complete realization that this kid is going to continue to grow to be a stud, and they got it beyond right with him. And while they have addressed one issue with Jimmy Butler, the lack of scoring on the outside is being addressed by the increased play of Shamet. Yeah, Shamet did miss that one. You're right, Anthony, my fault. So when you look at tonight itself, another big thing is the bench. Like, we rip the bench and we question the bench and we demand that this team do something to improve the bench by the postseason. But come on, let's be honest. They're doing it tonight. It's not every single night that they get their ass kicked. It's not. Come on, you can't leave this game early when they're showing people leaving early. You can't leave this game early when there's a Shamet watch going on. I don't care how good this team is and how bad they're beating the Wizards up. I don't care that they're kicking Washington's ass up and down the floor. There's no traffic issues. There's no I got to get up early issues. If you're there on this team tonight, if you're supporting this Sixers team tonight, you got to stay there until the Shamet watch is over, until he either files out or gets benched. Until this man is no longer on the floor, you're there in your seats. This is the Shamet coming of age game tonight. And damn it, you need to say where you were for it. What are you doing passing the ball up? Landry Shamet, man. At this point, unselfishness out the door as well. We're on the Shamet watch tonight. See if the kid can hit 35, 36 maybe. He's 7 points away from that. Sam Decker is getting buckets. You know this thing's over. But here's the issue, if there is one. It would be what you do to that question earlier about the bench. But this is a fun win tonight. This is one of those wins where you didn't need to get 40 from Joel Embiid. You got a balanced effort. Again, Jimmy Butler coming out and pacing things early on was gigantic. Ben Simmons did enough where this was just a smooth, balanced effort from your big three kids. And it allowed a guy like Landry Shamet to get open in clutch bench minutes. Again, this thing opened up with that run, and Shamet turned this thing into a laugher. But at least early on, they needed Jimmy Butler to come out and hit a couple of buckets consistently and keep pace with the Wizards. I mean, they were down. It was early, but they were down early on for that. And thanks to Butler, he was able to come back. So this thing is crazy, man, as we continue to look at this fourth quarter kind of winding down. But one thing that you can kind of look at now and just hope for is the Landry Shamet watch. He's got 8 threes, so he's 2 over the team record. I don't know what you think is a realistic number for him to finish at. It might be 10. Now, they clearly have no problem running the score up. 113.95 with just under 6 or 7 minutes, to go. So this isn't a matter of, hey, Landry Shamet, don't shoot. Clock is at 24 seconds. Somebody's going to have to shoot the basketball. They're not just going to dribble out you can't run the clock out for the final 5 minutes of the game. So let's be honest. Shamet's going to be out there, right? Yeah, I think you're right, man. That is Alshon. I know. I'm saying, listen, maybe I'm willing to forego the whole argument about these guys being out there. Like I wouldn't give you that nonsense old man talk about Alshon Jeffrey and Michael Bennett need to be in film studying for New Orleans. I'm happy that Alshon's out there, but come on, man. You got to be part of that. Alshon's got to embrace it. He's got to be standing up, waving his shirt, taking his hat off, being like, let's go for Shamet. He's got to be leading the Shamet watch out there, him and Michael Bennett, although Michael Bennett's got the kids. But listen, you didn't hear me use the V word. There was no violation call or anything like that on Alshon. I was just saying, if he's going to leave this game early, it can't be during the Shamet watch. That's all. Yeah, I think at this point your over is getting there, right? Here's the thing, though. I just don't want y'all to think I'm ripping Alshon Jeffrey because you're right. The man can do whatever the hell he wants. I'm just saying, man, if you're involved in a Shamet watch, if you're involved in watching a young kid explode, and all the guys on the sidelines, just watch, right? Now he's out, at least where I'm seeing. So Brett Brown sure knows how to kill our fun, right?
I can't believe you, Shander.
Why?
Yelling at Alshon Jeffrey for trying to duck out of this game early. I would have left this game midway through the third quarter. This game stinks.
Not when there's
the Wizards stink.
Landry Shamet.
Come on. I watched Landry Shamet at Wichita State drain threes left and right. I've seen that before. It's great. It's an aspect that this team sorely needs. But that doesn't mean I'm staying until the very end on a cold Tuesday night just to see if Landry Shamet can drop 10 threes. I'm getting out of the parking lot.
Listen, just because you and 15 people watch Landry Shamet drop 3-pointers doesn't mean that a stadium full of Sixers fans can enjoy that this young man is doing special things tonight.
Hey, he is doing special things, and it's an asset that this team sorely needs. I give you that. But maybe Landry Shamet can take Ben Simmons aside at the Sixers practice facility for about an hour each day and show him how to shoot a freaking jump shot.
At this point, I don't care who it is.
Yeah, I don't either. It could be you.
But Landry Shamet tonight is the story. Okay?
The story.
Landry Shamet is the reason why these fans are on their feet with 6 minutes to go and they're killing the Wizards. And Shamet's in the game.
Half the fan base didn't know how to pronounce his name when he was drafted. You realize that?
Yes, I do. You and I were part of that crew, right?
No, I was not. But I think
I heard you say Chame.
I will tell you this. Yeah, yeah. That's when when he tries to be French. It's Chame. But they got a back-to-back with the Wiz, as we know, tomorrow night. Got Atlanta at the Knicks and Minnesota, who just fired their coach. They got to really make hay over these next 4 games, because then they begin a stretch, Shander, and I know you looked at this, a 12-game stretch, 7 at home, 5 on the road against all big-time teams, including Houston, Denver, the Lakers, Golden State, all on the road, Sacramento, which is tough at home, Toronto, then Denver again, and Boston.
That's a tough one for Embiid. We'll see. And you're right. You have to take advantage of the next 4 games. And that's why a game like tonight is so big, because you get rest and you get to see guys like Simmons, Butler, and Embiid. And I don't want to keep going back to him, but to have somebody like Landry Shamet and anyone else that you can point to, and that is a comfort level where you know that you're up 15, 18, and you don't have to go back to your starters and get them back in the game. You can say, all right, get the shirt on. You're good. Right. That's what you need over the next 4. What's Butler's over-under against Minnesota, do you
think? Just in points? I'd say, I'm going to try to definitely get 40. Hang 40 on it. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Mark, real quick to the people out there, I just want to remind you, now that Harry's back with us, you can come on face-to-face. All you need to do is press that fan line button at the top right of your screen. So you see that fan line button at the top right, and you can pop on and chat with us face-to-face, have your voice heard and your face seen. So Mark asked the question, how many games are we going to be doing? And just to let you and everybody else know, we're going to be doing this at least 1 game a week, at least.
For the regular season.
Exactly. Regular season as we go into the postseason as well. So we're going to be here doing this, giving you an opportunity to talk about things in the fourth quarter. We'll try to find stuff that pops out. If it's a blowout, there's always going to be something entertaining that we can point to. Eagles in the crowd, Landry Shamet breaking the team record, and looking ahead as Harry did, knowing that there's a tough stretch coming up as well. So any questions and comments will be read, but also make sure that if you want to jump on, just hit that top right button, that fan button up there at the top.
Yeah, and Joe DeLuzio asked a good question. He says, hey, Harry, when does the Flyers fan cred start? As soon as the Flyers start playing legitimate NHL hockey and assemble a roster that's worth watching, then that's when the fan cred will start with the Flyers. And that's not going to start anytime this season. So just forget about it. All right? Nobody cares about hockey.
I think we're going to have more people watch Landry Shamet highlights from Wichita State than a Flyers game at this point.
Yeah, I think they'd rather watch Shaq Milton. Shake Milton, whatever his name is. Shake Shack. The Shake Shack.
Yes. The shake and bake. That's what we need out here. At some point, it's going to happen. Watch. Look at the Wizards trying to make a little push.
Yeah, trying to make a push. Still down 16.
14 now.
Oh, is it 14? Well, I'll tell you, I know they've got injuries. They got injuries to Wall, and Dwight Howard, he's going to have surgery or already has had surgery. They're banged up, but this roster stinks.
They're awful. And I don't. Somebody asked earlier. It's interesting. We'll get your opinion on this. Somebody asked if you think Scotty Brooks is going to get fired, and I don't know based on the movement that they make. Meaning, if they don't make any moves this year, then yeah, I think that there's a possibility he does get fired at the end of the year. But if they trade and strip down, they may keep him just for the rebuild to see stopgap.
Yeah, I mean, what does it matter with this roster? If I was Scotty Brooks, I'd want to get fired.
Well, that could be it too. Then you go on unemployment,
Wall's he's gonna have surgery to his heel. I mean, Bradley Beal's a superstar. Ariza is a really good veteran player. And what else do they have? I mean, Decker. Decker's a backup player to me.
Yeah, me as well.
On a good team.
Step back aside. He's just no good. Sean says, are you guys crazy? You want to see half of our faces? We do. Listen, you see our ugly mugs on here, on Derailed, anytime we stream, anything the two of us do. So it's a time that you reciprocate and start showing your ugly mugs to us.
We're sick of these Twitter eggs. Right, Shander?
What's that?
We're sick of these Twitter eggs.
Exactly. Show yourself. It's such an easy thing. That top right button, all you have to do is push it, and you can come on and chat face-to-face and be seen throughout the world.
Yeah, and I haven't used the Harry's razor in quite a while, about a week and a half. I'm growing a beard. I'm trying to be like you, Shander.
Well, the beard is not looked highly upon. That's the problem.
What's that?
I'm getting around somebody, the beard itself, right? It goes too thick, and then it gets in the way of issues.
Well, I liked when you had that Yukon Cornelius thing about a year or two ago.
If I'm going to
remember that,
yes. If I'm going to continue to outkick my coverage, then I don't think I can have both.
All right. So okay.
All right.
I got you.
I'm going to have to. If that's the case, I'm going to have to start pulling like Landry Shamet from 34 feet out. I think you should grow the Yukon Jack.
Well, I'm trying to grow the Frank Reich right now. I was really impressed with Frank Reich's beard over the weekend in the playoffs.
That's not a great look, man.
No, his look is okay. The beard you don't want to have is the Andrew Luck beard. Yeah. That could be the worst beard in sports.
That's too much throat action.
Yes.
There's not really like Jimmy Butler, I think, needs to grow some sort of beard.
Why? He's got good hair. He doesn't really need a beard.
That's what I'm saying, though. Good beard with that good hair would be a great combination, don't you think?
See, but I think he might want to, but then he would probably be seen as trying to compete with James Harden with the beard. I think James Harden has kind of ruined the whole beard thing for the other NBA players. Because if you try to really grow one, you're like, oh, well, you're trying to be like Harden. He's got that game already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Korkmaz just hits a three. And I guess if you're looking for, Korkmaz had a decent night. It was kind of overshadowed by Landry Shamet. But if you're looking for another small bright spot for tonight, it's the fact that Korkmaz didn't really.
How about Bolden?
Yeah, how about it? A Jonah Bolden fighting?
Jonah Bolden.
You got.
I don't know. Korkmaz had a couple of wide open threes in the corner that Butler gave him some great passes. It happened like two or three times down the court, and he missed them all.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's aggressive in pulling. The last one he just hit is too little, too late. So if you want to say 2 for 6 is not good enough, I'm with you. But
no, that's okay. I mean, that's okay.
Listen, I do think the fact that he's shooting and you have some sort of aggression, but Jonah Bolden's sighting is something. He shouldn't have taken Landry Shamet out.
See, I like Brett Brown's beard. That's a good-looking beard.
There's something about the color of it that looks off.
What, the white, the gray? What do you mean?
It doesn't match his skin tone to me. I don't like it.
Skin tone?
Yeah. Diet or something. I don't like it.
See, I'd like to have all white hair.
He shouldn't have taken Landry Shamet out. He ruined the final 4 minutes of this game.
Right. Well, he's trying to let people leave early is what he's doing.
Well, why? He should have captivated the audience by keeping Landry. Look at this kid. Landry Shamet could have gone for 40 tonight, and a selfish Brett Brown had to put Jonah Bolden back in.
But that's not important right now. What's important, they need to save Shamet, too. They're going to need him down the stretch hitting threes.
He's a rookie. How much do you need to save him?
Hey, he only played, 35 games when you play in college.
Well, he's played.
He's in uncharted waters already. Tonight's the 41st game of the year. They're exactly at the midway point.
Halfway through the season. He's the only guy that's played every single game. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did know that. Good. And they're 17-3 at home. They're about to be 18-3.
Sean says the crowd looks like the Bears game after going.
Do you know Cody Parkey? That it was suggested that the state troopers from Illinois give him an escort home. Somebody from the Bears asked the state troopers, and the state trooper allegedly said, "Nah, he's on his own."
That's great.
How about that?
It's rough, man. It's a rough life to live. I would hate to be that. All right, who do you think's going to get Who do you think's going to get the bogus bucket of the night? Sam Decker? Oh, almost.
Oh, shake.
Sam Decker with the bogus bucket or bogus assist of the night. You know, this game, Washington was nowhere near 113 points tonight. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're the Sixers, why are you going to try to play lockdown defense when you have a huge lead, when you have a back-to-back and you got a tough stretch of games coming up? You know, at this point, you're like, whatever. We'll just outscore you.
For Brett Brown, it's okay to run the score up with Amir Johnson shooting threes, but not Landry Shamet. Just want to make sure I'm okay with that.
That's right. But I guess they hit the over anyway. Joe hit the over of 228.
Oh, yeah. By all means, he hit the over. He killed it. But my question is that, why am I watching Amir Johnson and not Landry Shamet shoot threes?
Because Brett Brown knows that most fans are already heading to their cars right now anyway. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about hockey. Everybody cares about Landry, Harry.
Jesus. Do you care about this final minute because that's the only time you got to play when you played ball?
I challenge that statement. I challenge that statement is up for debate.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, 132, 115. This sucker's over. Any takeaway statement that you'd like to say? Thanks, Sean.
Takeaway statement is it was a Landry Shamet's coming out party. Everybody's going to know his name. Everybody's going to know how to pronounce his name. And now everybody's going to be expecting, 3 or 4 threes a night from him.
My takeaway is if you leave the game, I don't care if you won a Super Bowl, you're in violation if there's a Shamet special going on.
Jesus. Oh my God. Right? You're ridiculous.
Hey, Wilson asks, do we blame Brett for the misuse of Butler? And if so, should he go?
What do you mean the misuse of Butler?
Yeah, I disagree that there's misuse of Butler also. Yeah. I think they're finding a way. But Brett Brown is not going anywhere. The guy is second round of the playoffs last year.
No, he's not. But he hasn't been a head coach with a guy like this on his roster who's a real alpha dog. Embiid is developing into that. He's a little different. He's a different guy, but he hasn't had a guy like Butler.
Right.
There's an adjustment period here.
Absolutely. Butler, there's no filter with Butler. And there clearly wasn't a problem because Butler came out and played exceptionally well from the start. So the offense looked better. The team looked fine. This wasn't like a clunk, guys running into each other.
Right. No, I mean, I think there's that easy storyline with Butler, that's not going to go away for a while, that he's this bad teammate and he disrupts stuff. I'm not buying into that. I think that's overblown.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's the big part of it is it's such an easy jump or assumption to make because of Jimmy Butler. But we wouldn't be doing this if it were fill-in-the-blank player and fill-in-the-blank coach.
Right.
Kyrie Irving and Brad Stevens, we're not talking about this.
No. There's your boy. Now, are you going to go out and get a Landry Shamet jersey?
I don't know about a jersey, but is there something I can get personalized with Landry Shamet on it?
I think you should go get his Wichita State jersey.
That's not bad.
That would be bad.
That's not bad at all. Can I get that
Shockers. On? The Shockers, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, go down and talk to your neighbor, Mr. Rubin at Fanatics. He could probably get you one.
No, I'm mad at him. that helicopter is disrupting my national radio broadcast.
How many times were you on today? How many shows?
I was on just Atlantic City today, and then tonight too.
Okay, and then you did a hit on SB Nation. You're all over the place.
I am. Yeah. All right. A reminder, everybody that's still out there, we're going to be doing this at least once a week. Thank you again. FanCred is the app. Make sure you stay on that. Follow everything going on with your team. That app. Hang with Harry and I. Again, we'll be tweeting out when we're on next. Have a great night, guys.
See ya.